Okay, so good morning, everyone. So we're going to talk about how to create or craft your lesson plan. So let me share first my screen before we start. So lesson planning, picture kita. Parang
Batay sa ating hakbang ng pakikinig. Okay? Sa kailangan lang suriin sa
okay for
pagbilang.
lesson plan.
Okay? Susuriin.
So lesson plan is the Bible of the teacher. It guides the teacher what and how to teach a particular topic or subject matter for the students to be able to learn and be guided with the lesson that they have. So why is it important to craft or to create your lesson plan? So to answer that one, you comment down your answers below on the comment section. Why is it important to have your lesson plan? So let's proceed with the parts of the lesson plan. Okay, so this is the definition of a lesson plan. Planning for a lesson is a teacher's detailed description of a lesson which is prepared before they start teaching. So it is a plan. So in planning, you need to plan ahead of time before you have your lesson. It covers the learning trajectory and course of action, including the strategies, techniques that you need to consider in teaching that particular subject, and also the activities for that subject. And each lesson taught and acts as a comprehensive daily guide for what students are going to learn. So it also gives insight into how it will be taught. So why is it important? You comment down your answer in the comment section. So let's proceed with the parts of the lesson plan. So there are 5 parts of the lesson plan. First part is the objectives. So this is the most important part of the lesson plan. They are the reason why the lesson exists and should drive the activities. It is realistically the first thing a teacher should do, giving the whole lesson a statement of purpose. You just tell it to your students, today class, we are going to do this one. These are the objectives of the activity or the lesson. An objective should answer what students will be capable of doing by the end of the lesson. And this is what teachers should start with. They may include things such as students can explain, they can create something, they can define, or they can use as just a few examples. So to craft your objectives, you need to use the SMART criteria. Any SMART criteria. They should be specific. S stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and if it's time bounded or time based. And the aims you look at should be specific enough to be achieved in that particular lesson, even if the lesson works towards a greater overarching goal. So again, we are going to follow in crafting your objectives, the specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound or time based or the SMART criteria. Specific. So in order for a goal to be effective, it needs to be specific. Specific goal answers questions like what needs to be accomplished, who's responsible for it, and what steps need to be taken to achieve it. Specific like for example, if you're going to write identify, identifying is specific. Who will identify or what needs to be accomplished? Students needs to identify. Who's responsible for it? Students are responsible for it. What steps need to be taken to achieve it? Identify, they just need to identify a particular topic for that one. Example for not specific is that understanding. Understanding is not specific. How will you know that they understand if that is your lesson objectives? Who's responsible for it? Understanding. So it's quite vague or are not clear enough, not specific enough. If we are going to write lesson objectives as understanding, knowing, uh, knowledge level. Next one is measurable. or quantifying your goals. That is, making sure they are measurable makes it easier to track progress and know when you've reached the finish line. So how will you know that the students learn to that particular objective that you have? It must be measurable, meaning there's number. Maybe 80% of the students learn this topic, or it is we can see it to the students that they're doing the thing in your objective. The next one is achievable. Can we get it done in the proposed time frame with the resources and support we have available? Is it achievable? What are the things that are achievable? Identifying numbers are achievable. Going to moon on that day is not achievable. It's not attainable also. It should also be relevant or realistic. Will this be objective and have effect on the desired goal or strategy? Or like the main point for this one, is it relevant to your topic? Are your activities relevant to your topic? For example, if your topic is you are singing chikading chikading nagdupad-lupad and your topic is addition, was it relevant? Is it chikading relevant to, or is your activity relevant to your topic? Time bound is when will this objective be accomplished? But in a demonstration or a teaching demonstration, it should be accomplished within 10 to 15 minutes. So you are going to create a lesson plan for 10 to 15 minutes objective. So in writing your lesson objectives, for example, we have here develop patience in solving equation. Develop is specific. Specific. What measure or what are the measure? The measure is being patient. Is it attainable? Yes, it is attainable in solving equations, but kulang siya. It should be develop patience in solving equations through. You need to have this word through. What are the ways in order for the students attain patience in solving equations? So you give given word problem. So this is not enough. Develop patience in solving equation. This one is smart objective. You should specify what activity you're going to give to your students. So the skill is developed, then measurable. Patience is measurable in solving equations. They can measure their patience in solving equation through what? How can we attain? Through the given word problems. So this is correct one objective. So do not forget to have an activity in writing your objective. What kind of activity will you give to your students to, or in order for the students achieve the objectives that you gave to them? So in writing your lesson objectives, your lesson plan, you write the objectives in capital letter, then the cognitive, one affective, and one psychomotor objective. Next, this one. Yeah. For example, our topic is arithmetic sequence. So you copy the code in the K-12 curriculum guide, that is M10 AL. I see there's a meaning for this one. This is mathematics grade 10. M10 mathematics grade 10, algebra. AL is algebra. This is the unit 1, sub C, which is in the second quarter of the K to 12 syllabus. So when you write your topic, you also include the code of your lesson. So for the cognitive, it says here identify an arithmetic sequence through the given pattern. For the affective, we have to develop decision making in finding the pattern of an arithmetic sequence. So where's the true in finding? That is how they achieve the objective in finding the pattern. Solves the sum of the terms of given arithmetic sequence. So they solve the sum of the sequence of a given. So they give, or the teacher give an arithmetic sequence. Moving on, let's proceed to the second part of the lesson plan, which is the subject matter. The subject matter includes the specific topic. Now that relates back to the national curriculum. So our curriculum is K to 12 in Matatag curriculum. So as of now, there's a transition between the two curriculum, the 12 and Matatag curriculum. It should include the sources of information, the reference, the websites that you're going to use, textbooks, including the page of the textbook, and some other materials. And likely also list any objects or tools teachers may use to enhance their lessons. So this is how you craft your subject matter, the topic to be discussed. So you follow what is in the K to 12 curriculum guide, including the code of that particular topic. Ilan na to code. The reference must have, again, must have, it should have a book with page and an internet source link. You can shorten the link of the internet source. Example, your internet source is in matisfan.com. So you just write matisfan.com, the source or the internet source of that particular topic, and also the book with page. The materials, the specific name of the visual materials. No need to write the chalk, the board. Those are built-in materials of the teachers. What are those visual materials? You can have a PowerPoint presentation, you can have a picture, a flashcard, a drawing, illustration can be part of your materials as long as these are the materials that help you uh, achieve your objectives. Wala na appeal ang mga ballpen, rulers, those are just tools with the teachers. The last one is the value focus. This is the values which is connected to the affected domain. So why is it effective or why is it connected to the affective domain? We all know that affective domain focuses on emotions and values. And I said before, if we are going to choose objectives within the LATs or the lower order thinking skills, then it's very low and it's not it is very discourageable to use those maybe in the responding and receiving part of the affective domain. So you need to have a values which is connected to the affective domain. For example, your affective domain is collaboration. For example, your affective domain is collaboration. So you're going to think of a value which is connected with collaboration. You can say you have unity. So for your value focus, you just write unity, which is connected to your um, affective domain. So this is the subject matter. This is the part two. The next part is the body of the lesson plan, which is the procedure, the third part. Under procedure, we have this one, explanation of the lesson with just progress step by step. And for detailed lesson plan, it includes the routines, but we are going to use the semi-detailed. This is more about the procedures or steps and the methods that teachers will use to get there. Okay, so for the procedure, we have the motivation, presentation, discussion, generalization, and application. But might be there is a review part before the motivation. So if your topic is new, so you just proceed to motivation. But if your topic has a topic before, for example, your topic is adding fractions. So you need to go back what fraction is. You need to review what fraction is. You just ask questions, what are proper fractions, what are improper fractions, what are mixed fractions, so on and so forth. Then you proceed to your motivation. So you can just have your review, you can create your review if your topic is not new. Or there is a topic that you need to discuss before conducting or presenting the new topic, just connected to the topic. Okay, motivation is this is the part where you make your students ready. Since you are elementary teachers, grades 1 to 3, usual motivations for grade 1 to 3 is singing and dancing. There's a singing or dancing, or there were warm-up activity or energizer. But make sure that your motivation must be related to your topic. Again, put this on your mind and always this, you just take note of this one. Always remember that if you're going to have your motivation, it must be connected to your topic. So just like what I said earlier, ang ipakanta sa teacher kay chikading chikading naglupad-lupad. Then what would be the what would probably be the topic for that one? So chikading chikading naglupad-lupad. Multiplication, division. So it should be related to your topic. And after you done your motivation, you present the topic. Just simply present the topic. Okay, for example, nagkanta na mo, you're singing and dancing, chikading, chikading, naglupad-lupad. Okay. Sa may nitabo sa 5 ka chikading nga niluparan ng usa, pila na nabilin? 4. How about ang tulo, nakuha og isa, pila nabilin? 2 na lang. So, when you present your topic, you ask question, unsa day atong gibuhat? Unsa day ang gibuhat nato? Di ba nag-minus ta? Or nakuhaan siya? So, we are going to talk about subtraction. That is how you present your topic. And after that one, you discuss at least 3 examples. Give at least 3 examples.
This one. Pagbibigay.
Kinsa may answer sa tulo ka example. Always be reminded that the K-12 curriculum is a student-centered curriculum. So let your students answer the 3 example. Then you generalize. You sum up. You give a summary of the topic and give the values. Integrate the values. So for generalization, this is the time that you summarize the topic and integrate the values. You just ask the students, what is the topic all about? Then you integrate the values. So the value in learning the topic is about unity. And that's it. Then proceed to your application. And usual application for mathematics is a group activity because we believe that solving your problem alone is not good. You need somebody to solve your problem, to help you solve the problem. Dili mabuhi ang tao, ikaw raw sa. Dapat duha mo. Duha mo mga problema. So this is the body of your lesson plan. Under procedure, we have the review, motivation, presentation, discussion, realization, application. Okay, so in the procedure part, we can see or you can see that your objectives was achieved. Under the discussion part, your cognitive is achieved. Again, under the discussion part, cognitive domain is achieved. If ever your objective or your cognitive is not achieved in the discussion part, then there must be something wrong with your objective or there must be something wrong with your discussion. For generalization, your affective is achieved.
Three. Yeah. Four.
Same goes with the discussion part. If your affective is not is not successfully achieved in your generalization, then there must be something wrong with the generalization, or you must at least change something in your objective. And for your application, this is your psychomotor. So by just looking at your objective and your procedure, I can tell that your lesson plan is good. Your lesson plan is not good. Your lesson plan is not aligned with your objective. So you need to remember this one. The discussion, generalization, and application reflects on your objective. You have the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. The next part is evaluation. This is a paper pencil test. This is unlike application. Application is a grouping activity or group activity. But for evaluation, this is an individual test. It's where teachers weigh up how well children understand what they've been in that lesson. And this may be as simple as some multiple choice questions. It can be choice questions, can be formative type of tests or quizzes. And You can have 10 items for the evaluation. Then you put a, what you call this one, answer key. Why do we need an answer key in your evaluation? So that if ever you're going to check your quiz, then you'll already have your answers, features. The last part is the assignment. So the assignment component of a plan is made up of questions, exercises, set of practices specified by teacher, including focus specific questions. Okay, so for the assignment, you don't need to write, or it is not allowed to write answer, study in advance. It is not part of your objectives, study in advance. You need to have another 10 item test for for your assignment. So there you have a 10 item test for the evaluation, another 10 item test for the assignment. So this is a sample of a lesson plan format or semi-dated lesson plan. So you have the objectives. You write the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. So objectives is in red color in bold. But for the cognitive, you don't need to write this one, ha? Diretso na. Next is the subject matter. We have the topic, reference, materials, and valid focus. For the procedure, so if it's a new topic, proceed to motivation. But if it's not, make a review. And so you have the review, you have the activity, the motivation next, activity, presentation, you present the topic, discussion, you discuss, translation, you summarize and introduce or integrate the value focus. In application, so you must be focusing on the psychomotor part. In evaluation, at least 10 items for simple problems, or at least 5 word problems. For the assignment, save. So do not write, study in advance. That is how you craft your lesson plan. So for your activity, I'll be sending the link or the instructions for your activity so that you're going to create it and pass it by next meeting. So much for that one. Thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, clarifications, you can just message me directly on my account. See you next meeting. Stay safe and God bless you all.